Condensed, the time probably was around 4 weeks, and you can definitely spend 4 weeks or even less if you really, focus on getting everything done and do it in a timely fashion. Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. My name is Sarah and I'm Selena, and we're recent Ivey graduates and incoming first-year university students with a passion for business. We've been accepted into business programs like Ivey, Rotman, Schulich, and DeGroote. This video will be about how you can easily self-publish a book while being in high school. Through publishing our books, we were able to obtain various opportunities such as teaching a course, having a CBC TV interview, being a podcast guest, and more. So my novel, East Asian Girls Can, is a graphically designed novel which focuses on empowering East Asian girls like myself to pursue their dreams, identities, and cultures separate from the traditional expectations or stereotypes placed on them. So amidst the pandemic, there's been such a sharp rise in anti-Asian racism and hate, so I wanted my book to be a source of self-empowerment for young girls like myself. And then furthermore, just being avid readers ourselves, we never saw ourselves represented in literature, so we wanted our books to be just this. So Sarah and I both use Canva, which is an app and also a website that you can use to design and make graphic illustrations. So in my book, in these illustrations, for example, I use Canva to make them. So if you're thinking about making a graphic design novel or a novel for children, definitely consider using Canva, which is super easy to use. So amidst the pandemic last year, in around March, that's when we really started getting the idea of publishing a book, but then we spent the summer just thinking of what to write, what to design, actually making those graphic designs, because both our books so heavily relied on graphic illustrations. So condensed, the time probably was around 4 weeks, and you can definitely spend 4 weeks or even less if you really, focus on getting everything done and do it in a timely fashion. My book is called One Point in Time. I'm just gonna go through it quickly, as you can see here. And it is an anecdotal poetry book inspired by both my personal and shared experiences as an East Asian girl in a Western country. So I wanted to create a relatability factor and connect with my readers, especially during these unprecedented times where connectivity seems so hard to achieve. So some things that I mentioned in my book include the model minority myth, Chinese New Year, dumplings, and more. For both of us, we wanted to create books that were East Asian focused, not only because we were of East Asian descent, but because we knew the importance of diversifying literature. Diversifying literature allows youth to feel a sense of belonging because they can see characters that act and even feel the same way as them. So some of the things that you want to consider when you're writing a book are, first of all, your topic. So make sure you have somewhat enough expertise in this area to actually write a book on it. For example, if you're a grade 12 student and you love biology and you want to write a children's novel on sustainable methods of transportation, that is something that you would probably have enough expertise in, so you definitely could write a book on that. Then you want to consider how you want to publish a book and what route you want to pursue. So whether that is the traditional publishing route, which is with publishing houses, or the self-publishing one, which we took, and we used Amazon KDP, and again, we will elaborate on this later in the video. You also want to consider the time frame of it. So how long you want to spend researching, how long you want to spend writing, creating illustrations if you have any, and then the whole approval process if you're doing it self-publishing or having an editor to come in and look at it. You also want to consider your audience. So if your audience are children, you will have to think about what types of words you want to use, what type of pictures, and maybe also the book size that you want your book to be. And lastly, you want to consider the scale of your distribution. So this determines what types of platforms you will use, your audience, as well as the money and time you spend into it. For example, by scale of distribution, I mean if you want your book to be, for example, like an international bestseller, or if it's just like a local kind of small sort of side passion project that you want to do. Obviously these two are very different things, and the amount of money, time that you spend into it will be very different. As we go over a process with publishing on Amazon KDP, we're going to include snippets from various webinars that we did in the past, so feel free to look at those as we speak. So you may be wondering, what is Amazon KDP? Well, Amazon KDP is also known as Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing, and it is Amazon.com's ebook publishing unit that launched in November of 2007. So it's been around for a long time, and it's relatively credible. It's a platform where authors can self-publish and also where authors can turn their books into an ebook for Amazon Kindle readers. The idea is that if you're an author, you can either publish with a traditional publishing house or you can self-publish. And self-publishing has become quite favored throughout the years, and this is where Amazon KDP kind of comes in. Now, you may be wondering, why did we choose to use Amazon KDP? And of course, with Amazon KDP and with anything, there are pros and cons. The first pro is that it's easy because you don't need to find a publisher, so there's a much faster publishing time. Whereas if you publish with a traditional publishing house, then your work needs to be edited and vetted, which can take years. Another thing is that Amazon does the distributing and the shipping, so you actually don't need to do that much. All you have to do is upload your manuscript and Amazon does it all. Plus, you even get a physical copy, which was one of the main reasons that me and Selena wanted to publish with Amazon KDP, is because, it's always sort of been an aspiration of ours to, hold a physical book of something that we created. However, there's also cons. So the first con is that you have to do all the promotion by yourself. So there's kind of the idea that the amount of time and effort that you do marketing, that's going to determine how many sales you get, because you're self-publishing. Whereas if you had a traditional publishing house, they would do a lot of it for you. So that's definitely something to consider. And finally, you don't earn that much money. So if you're looking at publishing a book for the sake of earning profit, then maybe this isn't the exact method for you. But if you're into it to get that experience like me and Selena did, then definitely consider Amazon KDP. I know for both of us, the amount of money that we sell our books for, we earn very little, so it's definitely not a profitable business if that's what you're thinking. So some general steps when you're publishing with Amazon KDP are to first read all the guidelines and see if this is something you're interested in, specifically if self-publishing is a route you want to take. Then you can create your account and they will ask for your tax information. So make sure this is all right, because this is how they're going to pay you. Then thirdly, create your book. So take into account if you want a bleed or no bleed option, and bleed essentially means if your text or pictures go straight off the page. Also consider your margin size, and then make sure all your content fits with Amazon's requirements for each category. So for example, if you want a book that's 6x9 as a size, they will have different requirements for each size of the book, what types of cover you want it to be. So make sure you read all of those and follow all those guidelines, because if you don't, then your book may not be approved. And down the line, you may have to end up editing it, which will take more time that you don't necessarily need to take. Fourthly, you can receive a free ISBN number from Amazon. So this is just a number that comes with every book. So whether you're borrowing a book from the library or buying a book, all of them have one. So you need one as well. But if you don't want to use their free one, you can also buy one. And lastly, book approval will take 1 to 3 days. And that's just what's stated on the website. For both of us, our books only took around 1 day. So we recorded this voiceover after we recorded the video. So that's why it's a voiceover. But some of the ways that you can share the news about your book is, first of all, the easiest one is just sharing within your friends and your local community. So people who know you, they'll definitely be more than willing to support you, hopefully. Secondly, you can also cold email news stations, cold email organizations, cold email really anyone that can possibly promote your book. So what we did was we cold emailed news stations, several of them, and that's how we were able to land our CBC Toronto interview. Because we cold emailed, we explained about what our books were about, the inspirations behind them, as well as, obviously why we want to be on the channel. And then when they reached out for us, it was a pretty smooth process. They already knew exactly what we kind of wanted to communicate on their platform, and they really just provided the opportunity to do that. The third way you can promote your book is through social media marketing. So obviously within the world of social media, especially on Instagram, there's so many opportunities for you to just showcase yourself and what you've done. And a lot of the times people are really interested to learn about what you've done and how you did it. So you can sign up for panelist events, like being a book author panelist, or like sharing your journey. You can also do podcasts, again, sharing your journey. You can also do interviews. And lastly, one of the best things that you can do is ask for book reviews. So if your book has not been published yet, you can still ask for book reviews. So send a PDF version of your completed book to a friend or to someone who can edit it and give you feedback and also would be willing to write a book review. And then after they write it, they can write you one, and you can definitely put that at the back of your book. So then by the time it is published, it looks more credible because it seems like someone has already read it, and which they have. And so what we did was we reached out to friends who were also like East Asian people, because that's what audience were. We got their real life input. We got people to also edit our book. Hopefully by the end of this video, you gain some more insights into how we published our books, how you can as well, and just some general information on this type of self-publishing. We really wanted to create this video because the idea of self-publishing was always very overwhelming for us, and we wanted to show that you can be an author at any age. If you want to purchase our books, watch our CVC interview, or look at the various opportunities that we have obtained from this experience, feel free to check that out, linked in the description box below. Again, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel, and let us know in the comment section below what other videos you want us to make.